fundamental issues are central to the growth, the development, and the progress that we make in our continent. Number one is integration, the free movement of goods, services, and people. The challenge that we've had over the years is the interconnectedness of Africa. Challenges of travel from one country to the other, either by air, by sea, or by rail, or by road. Progressively working with partners like JICA, we've made progress. Not as much as we could, but we have made significant progress in modernizing our ports. For example, modernizing the port of Mombasa to make it much more efficient for purposes of moving goods and services around our continent. We are invested in transport networks. At the moment, we are discussing the building of the railway from Kenya to Uganda to DRC, and finally to join it to the other side on the Atlantic, and many other transport routes. So importantly, to connect Africa is of significant importance, and I must congratulate Japan for participating in connecting our continent. Secondly, is to make sure that we have a policy environment that supports and promotes intra-Africa trade. Today, intra-African trade is around 15%, compared to 60% in other regions, including in Asia, here in Asia. And therefore, the signing of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, that was a milestone agreement, now signed by 47 countries, establishes the mechanism for us to remove barriers, to facilitate movement of goods and services around our continent. We have not only signed into the Africa Continental Free Trade Area to eliminate barriers, we've signed into the East African Community, we've signed into the Tripartite Agreement, and also COMESA, to build Africa into one single trading bloc with 1.4 billion people and a GDP of $3.7 trillion. And additionally, as Kenya, we have removed visa requirement for any African coming to Kenya to make it possible for Africans, for citizens, for our continent to move freely and to eliminate unnecessary barriers that ultimately impedes trade, impedes movement of people, and reduces transition of services and other requirements that facilitate the development of our continent. Finally, is to work on instruments that also facilitate trade with other nations. Signed the EU Economic Partnership with the EU. We will be having a meeting as the Africa Union next month in November in Angola to discuss trade relations between Africa and the European Union, the 27 countries in the European Union. We are renegotiating AGOA with America. We are signing other agreements with other countries. And TICAD provides us an opportunity for us to have a conversation with this great country, with Japan, so that we can equally look at eliminating barriers that impede trade between Africa and Japan. A case in point is a discussion I had with the Prime Minister of Japan 2 days ago on looking at how we can remove barriers on our agricultural goods that come to this country. Kenya exports tea, coffee, horticulture, macadamia, avocado to many European countries. But unfortunately, we still have barriers of trade of our agricultural goods to Japan. We are looking forward to use the TICAD framework to negotiate as Africa so that we can have greater market access to Japan, to Asia, and use Japan as our friend to launch our way into the Asian market. And that is what brings us here to look at regional trade, intra-Africa trade, and to use it to drive our progress, our prosperity, and our business.